Hey everybody, Peter Zeihan here coming to you from Colorado. Today we're heading north to talk about Canada because our neighbors have a problem, actually several problems, and they all connect to one thing: immigration. Canada has built its entire economic model around mass immigration, and now that model is hitting a wall. The question is whether Canada can survive economically if it slows down the flow of people. The short answer is not without a lot of pain. Let me give you the numbers because they're pretty stark. Canada's population growth is almost entirely driven by immigration. We're talking over 95%. The birth rate has collapsed to about 1.4 children per woman, way below the 2.1 needed just to maintain population. Without immigrants, Canada would already be shrinking. In 2023 alone, Canada added 1.2 million new residents, the highest in its history. That's not a policy choice anymore, it's an addiction. Now, why did Canada go down this path? Demographics. Like most developed countries, Canada has an aging population. More retirees, fewer workers, and someone has to pay for healthcare and pensions. The solution Canada chose was simple: import workers. Bring in young people from around the world, put them to work, have them pay taxes. Problem solved. And for a while, it worked beautifully. The economy kept growing. The welfare state stayed funded, everybody was happy. But here's where it went wrong. All those new people need somewhere to live, and Canada didn't build enough housing. Not even close. Home prices have more than tripled in many cities over the past decade. Toronto and Vancouver are now among the most unaffordable housing markets on the planet. Young Canadians, the ones who were born there, can't afford to buy homes, can't afford rent, and they're getting increasingly angry about it. Immigration went from being popular to being a political lightning rod. The Trudeau government finally responded by announcing immigration cuts. They're planning to reduce targets significantly over the next few years. Politically, they had no choice. But economically, this is where it gets tricky. You can't just turn off the immigration tap without consequences. Entire sectors of the Canadian economy depend on immigrant labor: healthcare, construction, agriculture, food processing, trucking. Who's going to do those jobs if the pipeline of new workers dries up? And it gets worse. Canada's fiscal math doesn't work without population growth. The government has been spending based on assumptions about future tax revenue from a growing workforce. If that workforce stops growing or, God forbid, starts shrinking, you've got a budget crisis on top of everything else. The pension system, the healthcare system, all of it was designed for a Canada that keeps adding people. That's the trap they've built for themselves. Now add the external pressure. Donald Trump has made it very clear he views Canada as an economic competitor, not an ally. He's talking about tariffs. He's talking about renegotiating NAFTA again. He's even made jokes about Canada becoming the 51st state. Canadian exports to the U.S. represent roughly 75% of their total trade. If the American market becomes less accessible, Canada's economic problems multiply significantly. So what are the options? Option 1. Keep high immigration despite political backlash, accept that housing will remain unaffordable, and hope the anger doesn't boil over. Option 2. Cut immigration significantly, accept slower economic growth, and figure out how to restructure an economy that was built on different assumptions. Option 3, some kind of middle path that makes nobody happy. My guess is they'll try option 3 and fail at it. The deeper issue is that Canada never developed an economic identity beyond resource extraction and proximity to America. They've got oil, they've got timber, they've got minerals, but they never built the kind of diverse industrial base that could sustain the population without constant growth. Immigration papered over this problem for decades. Now the paper's coming off, and what's underneath isn't pretty. Here's what to watch. First, actual immigration numbers over the next year, not targets, but real arrivals. Second, housing starts and whether construction can possibly catch up to demand. Third, any moves by the U.S. on trade that would squeeze Canadian exports. And fourth, political polling, because if Canadians decide they want even deeper immigration cuts, the economic consequences could be severe. Canada is about to learn a hard lesson. You can become dependent on something, but becoming undependent is a lot harder. The next few years are going to be rough north of the border,